Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A Scotland, South Dakota murder suspect is now facing new charges. 2 weeks ago, Francis Lang is accused of going into a home with a gun and shooting everyone inside. 3 people died. Court papers say the 2 surviving victims, a woman and a 5-year-old, were hospitalized with life-threatening injuries.
The original complaint says Lang was initially charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. Now a grand jury has decided there is enough evidence to also charge Lang with 2 counts of attempted murder, in addition to the original charges. We've posted the documents for you right here on KELOLAND.com. A second man accused of murdering a pizza delivery driver in Sioux Falls admits to being involved in the crime.
Raymond Banks was originally charged with murdering and attempting to rob Casey Bonhorst in 2020. This week, he pleaded guilty to manslaughter for his role in the deadly shooting.
He is the second person to change his plea in the case. Jehennessy Bryant also pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Both men are scheduled to be sentenced in December.
No one was hurt during an electrical fire at a northern KELOLAND high school. Aberdeen Fire Rescue says crews were called to RONCALLI High School just before 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. Firefighters arriving on scene found light smoke coming from the main power supply on the north side of the building.
Staff had used a fire extinguisher to put out a small fire, and students were evacuated to a nearby church. There is minor damage where the fire happened. Repairs have begun on the building, and RONCALLI will be without power until they are complete. School is canceled today for high school students. Now let's get a check of our morning forecast with meteorologist Brian Karstens.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. We are looking at temperatures today that will be cooler than what we had yesterday, thanks in part to a northwest wind that will help bring in much cooler air. As we do take a look at what's expected for today in Sioux Falls, temperature at around 41. That will happen late this morning. You know what? We actually already hit our high temperature that will go into the books during the overnight hours. So these numbers will remain steady or slowly fall, especially by the time we do hit the afternoon. You see those winds from the north in Aberdeen. They can come in anywhere from 20 to 35 miles per hour. Numbers will start to fall later this afternoon. In central South Dakota, going with a high of 36. We may see that around 1 or 2 o'clock with that strong north wind. Don't expect much sunshine either. You'll go mostly cloudy on occasion, bringing some periods of sunshine. Better chance for that sun later today as we do look at our forecast here into western South Dakota. A couple of flurries or snow showers during the early morning hours. Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Former Republican state lawmaker Laura Hubble says she plans to run for South Dakota governor as an independent. It would be Hubble's 3rd try at landing the job. She ran for the Republican nomination in 2014 and lost to then-Governor Dennis Daugaard.
She was unsuccessful in her efforts to get on the 2018 ballot as a Constitutional Party candidate. Governor Kristi Noem announced that she would be seeking a 2nd term earlier this month. Steve Haugaard has also announced his bid for governor. Minnehaha County will start accepting applications for medical cannabis dispensaries on Monday.
The deadline to apply is December 13th. Applications can only be submitted in person with a sealed envelope at the Minnehaha County Auditor's Office during the week. There is a $5,000 non-refundable application fee as well as a $100,000 initial license fee, which is refundable to applicants who don't receive the license.
This comes as the South Dakota Health Department issues the first medical marijuana card to a resident in Dade County. In Sioux Falls, city officials are reviewing the applications of 5 dispensaries that were recently selected in a lottery. Rapid City has also issued a few provisional licenses to dispensaries.
What started as a pop-up shop selling vintage clothing in downtown Brookings now has a storefront.
605 Vintage is providing rare local vintage items to the community to offer a sustainable way to shop for clothing at an affordable price.
Average price in my store is going to be about $20 to $30. There are some higher end pieces, and it's very similarly priced to something like antiques. If there's a demand and the rarity is high, that's going to equate to the price.
Swift Hawk's mission is to give these clothing items a second life and keep them out of our landfills. That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather today, cooling down. That's the top weather story with that steady northwest wind in the forecast. We've got 30s on our hourly temperatures right through 2 o'clock. I think overall these clouds will be thicker, and of course we've had bursts of snow in the Black Hills, but for the most part, when you look at the vast majority of us today, really not any major hint of accumulation of snow. We see clearing skies tonight. Temperatures are dropping through the teens, and I would say here through daybreak tomorrow morning, even some single digits showing up around Watertown. That's pretty cold. Some of these numbers are the coldest we've had so far this autumn season. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, well, we have light winds to be thankful for. Sunny skies, temperatures 30s, low 30s in Sioux Falls, even some 20-degree weather most of the day into southwest Minnesota. But it won't take long. We're going to start to warm back up here into Friday. In fact, Rapid City could have an interesting day on Friday with highs somewhere in the middle and upper 60s. So it doesn't take long in this kind of pattern to really see these numbers jump back into that mild swing of weather. There's that wind today as we highlight that. There's your clear sky. Colder weather tomorrow on Thanksgiving. And then after that, we'll watch and see how the first half of the weekend shapes up. There could be a hint of some sprinkles in the air on Saturday, maybe a little passing light mix in Minnesota. But for the vast majority of us, it looks like the amount of moisture, measurable precipitation, pretty low. 37 today, Chamberlain, your KELOLAND live Doppler HD forecast. Low 30s in Watertown. Here's your extended forecast, and we'll hold those 40s into the start of the weekend. I wouldn't be too surprised if we're able to raise a couple of these numbers. I'd keep an eye on Monday of next week. That looks like a really warm spell in that 24-hour period. Even when we get knocked down, I'm thinking right now we're going to be above normal. Really pretty solid days 3 through 7. Aberdeen's pretty much on the same page, maybe not quite as warm as Sioux Falls, but yeah, no early start to winter here as it looks dry for the most part. Pierre in central South Dakota, let's see if Friday we could hit 60. We could get another run at some 60-degree weather near Pierre early next week. Right now, we're holding in the low to mid-50s, but stay tuned. There could easily be some adjustments higher. And Rapid City would also be a very good candidate for seeing 60-degree weather on Friday, again on Sunday. So quite a nice weekend. Check out details with our Storm Center update at KELOLAND.com.